Okay. So,
yes, my friend.
Last question. So you're the founding artistic director of the New York Theatre Company. Can you tell us a little bit about the organisation and its aims?
Yeah. The name is the Jewish Theatre of New York. It was founded in 1994, and it's basically a political-based theatre. It deals with social issues, and it's the only Jewish theatre in New York City and in New York State. And unlike the normal Jewish theatre that is folklore-based, you know, fiddler on the roof kind of theatre, our theatre is in-your-face theatre, dealing with issues of today, political issues like the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, Jews versus blacks in America, you know, all the tough issues, sensitive issues, very sensitive issues.
Yeah. We
put them all. Suicide bombing, settlements in the West Bank, you know, everything, you name it, whatever is on the agenda, politics in America, politics in Israel, politics in the Arab world, politics in Europe, we deal with them.
So you must spend a lot of your time fighting, really.
Oh yeah, with everybody. Sad to say, yeah.
And why do you feel it's important to have a specifically Jewish theatre company?
Well, our definition of Jewish is not race-wise. We personally myself and whoever is associated with this theatre, we don't believe Jewish to be a race. It's not a race. We don't believe in race. We think that everybody is the same. You know, it's not a political statement, it's just a factual statement. You know, all people are the same. We have same eyes, we have same nose, we all like to drink Coca-Cola or whatever it is, you know, coffee or whatever it is, you know, we all enjoy the same things, you know, given the same circumstances, put it this way. If we are raised in a certain society, we like the same thing.
This is true.
And Judaism, to me, for example, Judaism, the essence of Judaism is a question mark, lack of certainty. Like in Christianity, for example, if you see the culture, Christianity believes in Jesus. And Jesus is the Son of God. And in the book of the religion of that religion, Jesus always did right. You know, in Islam, Muhammad always did right. In Buddhism, Buddha always did right. You know, in all those places, you know, the leaders have always done right. In Judaism, the leaders have always done wrong. You know, David was a thief, a rapist, and a murderer. You know, every one of the leaders in the book that the Jews wrote, you know, has been a fucking idiot and a fucking thief and almost horrible person by the end of the day. You know, which means when you look at the history of what the so-called Jews produced, is a kind of, if it is a religion, it's okay. So the Jews said, who invented this, or we found God. And then we said, the moment we found him, we said, you know what? Fuck you, God. We don't believe in you, we don't obey you. And then God said, you know what? You are my chosen people. And as a result of that, I'm going to send you to places like Auschwitz. You know, it's like a fucked up religion. It's a fucked up culture. It's a culture that does not allow itself for any certainties. There is always a question mark. There is no answer. And for every answer that comes, there are 10 questions that come as a result. So Judaism is a culture that believes in perpetual questioning. And that's, to me, a philosophy that allows us as human beings a reason to live, you know, the perpetual thirst for knowledge. And that's, to me, means Jewish. You can be Jewish not if you cut your penis, or if you eat kosher, or whatever it is. You can be Jewish if you believe in the same thing, if you are not certain. The reason why we kill each other, be it a religious person on believing in some God, or be it a person who believes in some idea like communist, you know, you kill because you believe you are right and everybody else is wrong. you are not going to kill if you don't know if you're right. There's no reason for you to kill because I don't know. But so the Jewish, in my mind and in our mind, is that kind of.
Would you say that this idea of what it is to be Jewish is specific to your theatre company? Because I heard you mention before the difference between European Jews and American Jews, and is this a more American idea? Or would you say that it's...
I don't think so. I mean, I don't see it more American because American Jews, you know, in a way American Jews are very similar to European Jews. It's the same mentality, it's similar mentality. You know, it's the same fear of dealing every time with anything Jewish. You know, the ones who call themselves Jews are always, for the most part, very afraid of anything Jewish. You know, and I can see it even the people who come to our theatre, you know. We have more non-Jews come to our theatres than Jews, than so-called Jews, you know, and the Jews are always afraid of anything. Can we make a show not Jewish? You know, it's like the same thing to Europeans. What I meant when I talked about European Jews, I meant those kind of diaspora Jews, you know, who are so afraid of anything, who are so fucked up.
Yeah, that makes sense.
You know?
Yeah. So my next question was going to be whether you felt that by specifying it as a Jewish theatre company, you isolate your audience slightly, but I suppose you've answered this in a way.
Yeah, I don't see it isolating. I mean, you see in America, at least, you know, you have the Black Theatre, Apollo Theatre, for example,
yeah.
Many other black theatres, you know. You have Irish theatre, you have the Spanish theatre, you have all those kind of other theatres, you know. Ethnic theatre goes in America. I mean, especially in New York, you know, and it works, you know. I love black theatre, and I go to black theatre, you know, and I don't see it just for blacks. It's a community, you know, and if the show is good, if the play is good, it applies to all of us. It applies to all of us. You know, certain communities have their own certain problems, their own set of questions, their own set of problems, their own set of issues, but that's what makes it interesting, you know. Eugene O'Neill, you know, talked about issues that I was not raised on, you know, but he wrote excellent theatre. Yeah. I'm interested in it, you know. Another Eugene Ionesco wrote about issues that I wouldn't think on my own. You know, it comes from his culture, you know. I was a Romanian who wandered into Paris or whatever, you know, and it's beautiful. Yeah. The same thing here, you know. So the Jewish Theatre of New York deals with questions, you know, of the Middle East, for example, sometimes, you know. Hey, the whole world deals with it. You come from Britain. The Guardian is full of it, BBC is full of it, and all the media of the world is full of the issue of the Middle East. Everybody cares, you know. I don't know why. I can't figure it for the life of me. I care so much about it. You know, I want to know why. But the fact of the matter is, they do. And so we deal with these issues. So anybody who cares about these issues, we are the others, because nobody else is dealing with them. Yeah. Everybody else is, you know, while the media is always dealing with it, theatres are afraid to touch the Middle East, for example. Theatre are afraid to touch the issues of blacks versus Jews or whatever. You know, we deal with these issues. And you can represent anyone who's disenchanted with the dominant ideologies. Exactly. Yeah, it makes sense. In fact, I suppose it's always been used as pinpointing a certain area of society to represent the whole, as you can't just tackle everybody who's disenchanted. Exactly. Okay. So, but you know, like the shows that we do now here, I mean, that this theatre is doing here, Let's Do in Europe, which is about the rise of anti-Semitism in Europe today. You know, we did it in New York, it played for 2 years. It's played now for 3 years in Poland. And in New York, you had people from the black community who came to see the show. What does he know about Poland? They don't care about Poland. But you know, anti-Semitism, you know, it's not their issue. But you know what? They love the show. Because for them, they just plugged the word black every time the word Jew came in. You know? Yeah. They plugged the word United States every time the word Poland came in. And guess what? It's the same thing. The same thing. It made total sense to them. Well, that's great. And that's what the beauty of theatre.